Okay, so we're back in the coldest place in the world. Now, it's 2024, and a lot of you guys are deciding that this is going to be your year. It's your year to start a YouTube channel. And although I'm a little bit late to making a video for 2024 and what my expectations are, instead of just doing a channel announcement, I actually want to go through 5 different categories that you can use to improve your YouTube channel in 2024, where at the same time, some of the things that I'm going to change on this channel that you can look forward to. So we're just going to do that today. Now, it's been a little while since I've posted a video, and that's mostly because I was on vacation in Ghana. I'm unavailable. They know they see me. But now that I've come back, I've come with some different perspective on how I want to make videos. Now, the first thing I want to do is talk about compartmentalizing the type of content that I want to make. Now, I typically have 3 different categories that I have for the videos that I put on this channel. The first thing is going to be educating, and I've made quite a lot of educational content, from how to use your camera and also just kind of the settings and different things that you can use on the Sony FX6, the FX30, and some other stuff as well. The second thing is going to be the documenting. Now, I'm not coming here on YouTube as a filmmaking or a camera tech channel as somebody that's an expert. In fact, I make a lot of mistakes, I screw up quite a bit, and I'm definitely not a perfect filmmaker. However, I do like using videos and behind the scenes to act as game films so I can learn from them later on and hopefully improve, but also while you're watching them, you don't make the same mistakes I do because I've already made them. And then the third thing, and this is something that I'm not the best at, and this is actually going to be creating. Now, I've put out a ton of videos in terms of how to use your camera and the technical stuff and all that other fun stuff that I use on a regular basis. But I did find that now that I've made more YouTube content, I haven't necessarily actually made a whole lot of things myself. And that's something that I want to change this year. Now, in terms of videos that are going to be in here as well, the gear content and the gear reviews and stuff, they're probably not going to go anywhere. Because novel idea, maybe some people just like talking about technology. I've never been one to say that gear is a direct opposite of actually telling a story in filmmaking. In fact, you probably need some of those tools in order to tell the stories you want to tell. Also, just tech is interesting. Playing with technology is fun. Camera companies and different gear companies that come out with new things are fun to play with, and they're interesting. And given the opportunity to actually do that, well, I'm gonna do those things, and I'm definitely gonna make content about it. That doesn't negate the fact that I'm gonna show behind the scenes and talk about the things that I'm going through on the filmmaking side of things, but those two things can coexist on the same channel. And those are just things that you're going to have to live with if you still want to stay here. In fact, I have 2 new cameras on this desk. Right now, I have the Sony a7C Mark II I'm recording on, and Blackmagic left their new full frame 6K open gate L mount, you know, the camera with a really long name. They left this at my house before I left. They didn't really give me any details in terms of videos, which means I'm gonna just make a ton of them until I get bored or I want to send it back to them. One thing overall that's helped me make a ton of different videos this year was actually just making different categories, because it's a lot easier to think of 25 ways to document my journey than is thinking of 100 ways to document my journey, or 100 gear videos, or creating 100 short films in a single year. In fact, that would get quite exhausting if I tried to do all of that. Now, the second thing is actually going to be consistency, and although I've posted a ton of videos, consistency for me doesn't necessarily mean you're posting frequency. It actually means you're messaging. Now, with every single channel that you've watched for a long time, or at least the ones that do pretty decently, there seems to be a common thread throughout the channel. It might be a common topic or a common style, and figuring those things out and making sure that your messaging and even the things that you say and your values are consistent actually is a little bit more important than whether or not you're going to post 1, 3, or 5 times a week. One thing that I find, at least for myself, is I try to be as much of myself as I possibly can. There's certain things that I value, there's certain things I don't really care about, and I make sure that I show those in every single video. And that for me is more consistent, so to speak, than the fact that I posted 102 videos in 2023. This was not originally part of my list of things to help you in your YouTube career, but I did realize that the vast majority of you guys aren't actually subscribed to the channel. Now, it is some exorbitant number, which is actually unreasonable, so what I am going to do is ask you to click that subscribe button down below, because it's absolutely free, and it makes me happy, and I think that's something that everybody wants to do. Now, number 3 is going to be using the varying types of content mediums to your advantage. Now, on YouTube right now, you can do things like live streams, there's YouTube Shorts, and there's just regular long form videos like what you're used to now. Now, those all have different places as a content creator, where there are going to be some people that watch short form content exclusively, and there's going to be some people that are going to be perpetual live streamers because Twitch is kind of a mess right now. And then there's also going to be people that just watch long form videos because that's the way YouTube started and they want to keep things as God intended. Now, one thing that I want to do in 2024 is I actually want to use all of these to my advantage, and that's going to be having things like regular live streams, because they are pretty easy to do. Once you have your setup all ready to go, you just have to turn things everything's on, you do your live stream, and once it's done, YouTube will save it and you could use it as a video to stand on your channel permanently. Now with YouTube Shorts, I've kind of struggled with whether or not I want to keep them on the channel or not. And some people say it's terrible for you and some people say it's great. But what I'm going to do is try to experiment with a theory that I have about YouTube Shorts. Now with YouTube Shorts, I find that the most views that I've ever gotten is when I talk about people, places, or things. Now, as someone that talks about a lot of filmmaking gear, technology, behind the scenes and stuff like that, the things part of that 3 is actually going to fit somewhere in my YouTube Shorts strategy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making short form content about maybe some of the tools that I use on set or some of the tools that I use in personal spec projects, because it's a little bit easier to digest and some people don't want to watch a 25-minute review on a camera that they probably won't even buy. Now, if you're someone that is starting off with your own channel, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to use every single one of these mediums, but being aware of how you want to use them and what they're used for is actually going to help out a lot. I love using live streams because it gives you a deeper connection to the audience, and in some cases you actually might monetize per video a little bit more than your regular long form videos. On the flip side, the short form content is a great way to have people discover your account and discover who you are on this platform. Although it's not the most monetizable thing in the world, the content is extremely easy to make, and I find a lot of people can make content daily on there without being stressed out too much. And then you have your long form videos kind of like this one, which kind of operates in the middle. You can still connect with an audience, you can still educate, inspire, and you can still give out a lot of value, but at the same time, it's not as long as a live stream, but you can really polish things up to make them the way that you want them to. However, it is time consuming to make really high quality videos. So there's those things that you have to consider when dealing with the 3 mediums that you can use YouTube for. Now, number 4, and something that I feel like a lot of people getting on YouTube are doing, is embracing monetization. Because at the end of the day, running a YouTube channel, putting out as many videos and having people help you out making videos and filming them and editing them and planning them, it all is going to require money some way or somehow. I find that sometimes there's a bit of a culture around not wanting to monetize on videos to be more authentic to the audience, but the way that I look at my YouTube channel, and some other people might think the same, is that it's just another business that you have. Now, at the end of the day, you could still own a business and still be authentic, and you could still tell the truth, and there isn't necessarily an incentive to lie because, well, you deter future customers from coming back. But I'm going to embrace having things like sponsored videos and ad reads and things that are going to support the channel so I can continue making content. So at least I get to choose how I punish myself through the day. You could do it through a 9 to 5. You can do it by working odd jobs. You could do it by working 11 hours on set. Or you could take on sponsors when you're making YouTube videos to help pay your bills. Now, at the end of the day, I still get to say yes or no to certain things that might come up. And I've said no to quite a few things that give you a bunch of money, but they're also things that I don't really care or believe in. Now, that might turn some people off. Some people don't like sponsored videos, but you could always just not watch them. Now, for people that are starting out their channel and they're probably after the same thing, which is going to be monetization, you don't necessarily just have to use sponsored videos in order to earn an income on this platform. You could do things like having courses, which people do a ton. You could also have digital products like LUTs and presets and other tools that you can get to creators in order to help them with their process that helped you in yours and also make a little bit of money. You could also do one-on-one mentoring, and that's something that I'm going to look into a little bit more. I used to be afraid of getting that old sellout tag every time there's a sponsored video, but at the end of the day, I know who I am and I know what my values are, and I'm not afraid to talk about products that intersect between things that I want the audience to know and getting paid to do so. If I didn't like it, I probably wouldn't talk about it, and if I do like it, well, I'm going to talk about it even if I wasn't getting paid for it anyways. Just the barrier of access might be a thing that comes up. Now, at the end of the day, and one thing that I do find that actually really enhances my YouTube experience, or at least the way that I present on this channel, is to A, not listen to what anybody else thinks, and B, to have a life outside of YouTube. One thing that I learned going on this trip to Africa and spending a lot of time with my family and actually not making a ton of content, or at least not as much as I thought I would, I learned that having a life outside of this platform actually helps me make better content on this platform. There's something to be said about personal experience and how it makes you a better creator or makes you a better filmmaker, but if you spend all your time perpetually on the internet, you take away some of that time to actually experience the world and be able to share those experiences with other people, or it actually changes your creative eye to make better stories and to create better work. This is actually the longest time that I've taken off of making content in general as a freelancer or on YouTube. And by taking that sort of extended break, it really reframed how I want to look at different things going forward. Now, at the end of the day, you could do whatever you want with these tips. You could listen to some of them, you could listen to none of them, or you could make some for yourself. But I do want you to leave a comment down below in terms of what your New Year's resolution is for 2024 as a creator, a filmmaker, or a freelancer. That being said, this is the first video of 2024, and I'm actually coming out with a vengeance because, speaking of live streams, seems there's actually going to be one tomorrow. So until then, hope you enjoyed the video. At the very least, you learned something, and I'll see you later. Peace.